headed to the west, and it's calling me back again. There's a pale blue sky and an orange sunset, and a place I can't forget. You go down home when the sun goes low, head off the highway to a painted western sky. Walk down a worn path through the back door, cooking in the kitchen and the kettle is warm. Then you sit down home.
Welcome to Great Chefs of the West, a video symposium of regional cookery offered by chefs from the West and Southwest. From Dallas, Texas, an appetizer by Chef Stephan Pyles. From Austin, an entree by Chef Jeff Blank. From the San Diego area, a dessert by Chef Cindy Black. And home-based cooking from the State Fair of Texas.
Stephan Pyles, along with several of the new breed of American chefs, has combined a talent for developing distinctive food with an absolute genius for attracting national press attention. Perhaps only Paul Prudhomme from New Orleans and Jeremiah Tower in San Francisco have received more. This not only because he and partner John Dayton created Routh Street Cafe, one of Dallas's first frontline restaurants, but also because Chef Pyles effectively caught the latest food trend, Southwestern cooking. His first course is a good example, sweet potato bisque. He begins by dicing sweet potatoes. They will be boiled 10 minutes in salted water. The soup includes diced aromatics and seeded chopped serrano chili, a pepper slightly hotter than a jalapeno.
We'll saute about a tablespoon of carrot, tablespoon of celery, tablespoon of onion. This is 1/2 serrano chili, seeded and diced.
The vegetables are sautéed about 2 minutes or until soft.
This is about a teaspoon of fresh thyme. We're going to deglaze with a little bit of chicken stock. Let that cook for about a minute.
The blanched sweet potatoes are processed with the aromatics. Also fresh pears, which have been poached in white wine and lemon juice, flavored with sugar, cinnamon, and pear brandy. Chicken stock is also added. And the mixture is processed for about 2 minutes.
Okay, to the saucepan, add your pureed sweet potatoes and pear. We're going to add the cream. Just let that simmer for about 10 minutes after you've added a little bit of lime juice. The 2 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Salt and freshly ground pepper are added to taste. Sliced avocado, sliced poached pear, and lime will garnish. Outside Austin, near the huge man-made Travis Lake, is Hudsons on the Bend. It's one of several new restaurants that represent almost a dining renaissance in the capital city. Jeff Blank, co-owner and chef, found his way to cooking through his studies in hotel and restaurant administration. He cooked in Aspen and San Antonio before opening Hudsons in 1985. The entree suggests his strong interest in Southwest cuisine: pork tenderloin stuffed with chorizo and served with apple chutney. He will be assisted by sous chef Robert Hughes. The stuffing, which can be made ahead, starts with diced tomatoes, celery, green onions, white onions, and carrots. Also brown chorizo, the Mexican sausage. The side condiment is apple chutney.
About a half a cup of white vinegar in the hot pan. We'll put in about 3½ cups of diced apples. And then we're going to add about a cup, about one cup of raisins. And then we'll have, to that we'll add 1 cup of brown sugar and 1 cup of white sugar. This is about 2 teaspoons of mustard seed. And we have some freshly chopped chili peppers. It's about 1½ tablespoons. Adds a lot of spice to the dish. And for a little more spice, there's 2 tablespoons of fresh minced garlic. We've done this previous in the food processor. And then also we have about ½ cup of fresh ginger root, and that also was put into the food processor and minced finely. The last ingredient is just a little fresh lemon, and we use every bit of the lemon.
Also the juice of 1 lemon.
It makes a nice complement to pork. We'll let that simmer. The chorizo, as you can see, does have a whole lot of extra fat in it. We want to cook that off. We're just about there. We'll strain it and then add that to what Robert's chopping.
Mushroom pieces and the drained chorizo are added to the vegetables.
Just to clean up the pork tenderloin, just take all the silver skin off the outside, the only part of the tenderloin that would have any toughness at all.
Chopped serrano peppers, including seeds, heat up the stuffing.
I add a little bit of different herbs, sweet basil and rosemary and oregano. Add some fresh garlic, about a tablespoon. And then fresh cayenne pepper. And a little bit of salt. About 3 or 4 dashes of Worcestershire sauce. And a couple of dashes of Tabasco. And then you mix it up.
Okay, so Robert's doing that. We've got the tenderloin just about completely cleaned up. What we're going to do now is take the boning knife and be careful to run the boning knife right through the center of the tenderloin, as that's where the stuffing is going to go. You can kind of feel the knife through the tenderloin as you cut it to make sure you don't push it out the side. And after we've done that, we take a clean sharpening steel, which will help us to make the hole a little bit bigger. We'll get the stuffing in there. And now Robert's going to stuff the pork tenderloin. After he finishes stuffing it, we're we're going to sear off each side of the pork tenderloin to hold in all the juices and flavor, and then we'll roast it in the oven. After you sear it off, it only takes about 5 minutes in an oven at about 375 degrees, and you'll have just a little bit of pink at the center of the pork tenderloin, which really is excellent with the moisture in the chorizo. It's a real good combination.
Season with salt and pepper, then sear in clarified butter.
Leave it just a minute or two on each side, and then we'll sear it. You have a little bit of the stuffing escape out. If you'd like, you can sew the end shut, but it's really not needed. After we bake this in the oven, we'll bring it out, let it stand for a minute or two, and then we'll slice it into medallions and decorate it on the plate. You'll see it turns out very pretty because you have the chorizo in the center surrounded by the pork tenderloin. This particular pork dish, we don't serve with another sauce, just the chutney. Sometimes we feel like there's too many sauces going in dishes. This is a little bit lighter without heavy sauces, and just has a nice chutney to go with it. Okay, you see it's nice golden brown on the outside. All the sides are seared shut, and we'll just put it in the oven for about 5 minutes.
With the home oven, roast at 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes.
See all the different vegetables and chorizo, and the flavor and the smells that come off is wonderful with the Mexican herbs and spices. Chutney is also done. You can see it as a nice, rich, dark brown color, and it's ready to be chilled. And we do chill it before we serve it. Chutney is served cool. Put a little bit in the center.
San Diego is home for, among other things, Piret's, a chain of informal bistro-like restaurants and specialty shops that have only recently spread to Los Angeles. The executive chef for all of the operations is Cindy Black, a young up-and-comer who apprenticed in France before cooking in Boston and later Shepherd's in San Diego. The French training and her love for robust country fare is evident on Piret's menu. But she is also accomplished in pastry, proved with her dessert, a classy confection called Chestnut Royal. It has 3 components, a chestnut mousse, a prune jelly roll filling, and a sponge cake batter which begins with 5 egg yolks.
All right, so we'll start whipping those yolks, and then we'll slowly add our half a cup of sugar to that. Start adding in the sugar. Add the lemon in now.
The chef adds a tablespoon lemon juice, a little bourbon whiskey, and vanilla to the yolks and sugar.
Next step that we'll be doing is to fold in the flour, and I'm going to re-sift that flour over it just to be gentle instead of dumping in all the flour at once. And then we will be lightening this mixture with the egg whites.
1 cup cake flour and 5 egg whites beaten to soft peaks will be added. Still
not there yet. It probably will take, about 3-4 more minutes. You always want to push your ribbon when you're and in any baking or in baking cakes, you always want to push the ribbon to get the most volume that you can get.
Meanwhile, the sponge cake prune filling starts with 1/2 pound pitted prunes that have been marinated in 1/2 cup whiskey and 1/4 cup lemon juice overnight.
And best way is to puree them with a little bit of the liquid, and then I will add some more so that you get as fine a mixture as you can before you add the rest of your liquid. If you added it all at once, it would just be swirling in the bowl. Okay, we're going to add some more in here.
After more whiskey is added to the prune puree, set aside and complete the sponge cake batter.
So we've got our cup of flour here. I'm going to start, see, by giving it a little first batch. I'll probably end up doing this in about 2 stages, just real quick. Now, while it still is not completely homogenized, I'm going to move right along and lighten this mixture with about 1/3 of our whites here. Okay? Move right along and then fold it in as gently as I can. And then you can go backwards. Again, you want to try to move along about as fast as you can. If there's a little bit at the bottom that doesn't look like it's as well mixed, then leave it out.
The batter goes in a parchment-lined sheet pan. The cake is baked in a preheated 325-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes. Here are the ingredients for the chestnut mousse filling. The eggs are separated and the whipped whites added later. The sweetened chestnut puree and soft butter are already in the bowl.
Scrape the edges of the bowl here. Okay, so we have almost a...
Vanilla and lemon juice also flavor.
Lemon juice.
The sponge cake is ready and is turned onto plastic wrap.
Flip it out on
It
top
should
of
cool
that
some before the parchment is removed, but not completely.
thing.
The jelly roll is easier to accomplish if the cake is still slightly warm. The chestnut mousse is completed, first by folding in the 4 beaten egg whites.
And our cream. We'll lighten this with our heavy cream and then fold the rest in.
The 1½ cups whipped cream is flavored with whiskey. Carefully peel the parchment paper from the sponge cake. Then put a thin coat of the prune puree on the cake.
I feel like just... Okay. And I'm going to roll it like this and pull it forward. There it comes. And do that.
The rolled cake is covered in plastic wrap and placed in the freezer to stiffen before slicing.
So we'll oil this lightly.
Line a 10-inch pan with wrap and oil. Slice the roll, making sure of 2 things.
Your knife is sharp and that the roulades are chilled.
The pan is lined with the roll slices.
Okay, then I'll begin placing them around the edge. You want to tuck everything in as tightly as you can so that the outside design, when you go to turn it out upside down, is as even and uniform as you can have it. Notice I put the flat side against the flat side and all the rounded sides are moving. I'm going to press all these down.
The chestnut mousse is packed into the cake shell.
Let's fill this mold up. Not completely, but just to the edge of the cake.
Cover with plastic wrap and refrigerate overnight.
Okay. I'm gonna take this off here. I hope it's not too soft still. Maybe you can...
home-style cooking comes from the State Fair of Texas and Ray Calhoun, who will introduce us to the mysterious and deadly serious task of making a bowl of Texas chili. Ray has cooked in 40-some chili festivals and cook-offs since he began in 1978. He was the Texas men's champion in 1980 and won the Texas Open Chili Championship in 1984. Here's how he did it. Finely diced onion and garlic proceed browning 3 pounds of coarse chili meat.
That's getting about right now. Okay, the oil is probably good and warm in here now. And all you do is take your chili meat, in this case I've got 3 pounds, and dump it in and brown it off. You hear it sizzle. Whew. That smells good. Once the initial sizzle is off of the chili meat here, go ahead and add my chopped onion, garlic to this. That's 1 onion and about 4 or so cloves of garlic. That's really a matter of taste. Onion tends to make the chili a little sweeter. So we'll put us a little color in here. Now this is not Hungarian paprika, this is domestic, it's mild, doesn't have any flavor at all. I put a tablespoon or so in there to kind of add a little red color. Makes the chili look real bright. Then we'll add our chili powder. These are all commercially available chili powders I have in the box. And again, this is your choice as to which you like the best for flavors. And we use, with 3 pounds of meat, 5 to 6 tablespoons of chili powder. We'll measure in 1, 2, 3 or so.
The chili powders he uses are potent blends readily available in Texas, but the ones found in other parts of the country don't pack the same wallop.
Because chili cooks are forever trying different chili powders, and they say, well, maybe this one's better, maybe the other one's better. Okay, we put in our 5 spoons of chili powder. Primary spice in chili, other than chili powder or chili peppers, is probably cumin or comino. And we use a tablespoon or so of comino and a little bit of oregano, ground oregano. Don't use a whole lot. A lot of the cooks seem to feel if you use a whole lot of oregano, your chili will start to taste like spaghetti sauce. So use about a teaspoon or so. Stir it around again. That's the basic spices in chili. Chili powder, cumin, oregano, all in here now, a little paprika for color. Now we can add in the tomato sauce. This is just a can of sauce, 8 ounces or so. Whoops, messy. Salt's something you can add into the chili, but you sure have a difficult time removing it once it's there if you got too much. We'll put a little bit of salt in just to kind of loosen it up, a teaspoon or so, but that's a matter of your own taste. It's just enough to kind of bring the flavor out a little bit. Now you'll find if you're cooking in a cook-off competition, you'll cook this meat with tomato sauce and the paprika and the coloring ingredients and salt a little while. Go over here and get me some water. And you won't add the chili powder and the comino and the oregano until later on in the cooking process. The reason you do that is so that your chili will peak during the time it's being judged. It tastes real good to the judges, so you add it a little later. If you're cooking chili at home, obviously you fix your chili, cook it, set it aside in the refrigerator, let it age overnight.
Simmer the chili for about an hour and a half, covered. During the last half hour, add hot pepper to taste. Ray adds a small seeded jalapeno.
And we use about a teaspoon or so of cayenne. Put that on a little later on so that it will work in after you put your chili powder in. And if you don't like your chili that hot, just leave it out completely. I want to eat beans with my chili, and I personally like them that way. And I'm sure a lot of Texans would say that's heresy to have beans with your chili, but a lot of people do. put you some beans in there and then put you some chili over the top. You haven't violated any of the rules then. You've got your chili cooked separately, good meat and gravy combination, good color. Here, we'll get some of that gravy in here. All drains down and surrounds those beans. The beans are hiding down there anyway, so you're safe. In case any of the meat and gravy only people come by, you can say, well, look at my chili. You don't see any beans in there, do you?
Garnish with chopped onion and grated cheese.
If you don't, just eat it straight. It's good that way, too. That's ready to go.
Explore the excitement of more American cooking next time. Full-color companion cookbooks are available for the Great Chef series. The hardbound edition of Great Chef Southwest Taste is $34.95, including shipping and handling. Or save with the hardbound 4-book set of Great Chef Southwest Taste, Great Chefs, Great Cities, the Louisiana New Guard, and Great Chefs of the East, a $120 value for only $90.50, including shipping and handling. Send your order and check to Great Chef Southwest Taste, Post Office Box 56, 637, New Orleans, Louisiana 70156, or call 1-800-600-2402 today.
There's a road headed to the west, and it's calling me back again. There's a pale blue sky and a northern sunset and a place I can't forget. You go down home when the sun goes low, head off the highway to a painted western sky. Walk down a worn path through the back door, cooking in the kitchen and the kettle is warm. Then you sit down.